Hey, what's going on, everybody? Caleb here again, continuing the Backrooms Entity Iceberg. This is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, link will be in description. If you haven't seen my previous Backrooms video, The Disturbing Levels, I recommend watching that before you watch these. The plan is to hit 4, 5, and 6 in this video. And if my calculations are correct, that'll be probably about an hour, maybe more. And so Class 7 will most likely be its own video. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. Coming in, Class 4. This is where the entities get a lot more dangerous, a lot scarier, and they're things you generally do not want to run into. Yeah. Death wasps. I absolutely hate wasps. They are my least favorite insect. I was stung a lot as a kid. They can all go to hell as far as I'm concerned. Not bees, wasps. Death wasps in the back rooms are basically wasps, but when they sting you, it causes depression. You get stung once, you're going to be hella bummed. You get stung twice, you're going to think about just yourself. And you get stung thrice, your body's going to shut down. And that is it for the death wasps. Pretty short. Little killers, also known as Micros Dolophonos, little killers. These guys are a very hostile entity that looks somewhere between a feline beast and a human. Don't know where they got that from. Little killers normally form in small packs with its kind to hunt down a person. The packs don't last very long. It's very common for those packs to just disband after successfully taking someone down. They don't really have a leader. It's just kind of like, hey, let's kill that guy and eat him and be on our happy way. When spotting prey, the pack's attack range, they will attack all at once. They like to wait in higher places like cliffs, trees, roofs, or in between high bushes. The victim is normally torn apart in seconds, and the pack will eat the body until there is nothing left but bones. Even though they don't form packs, they do have some kind of loose community. The areas where they live are relatively small, and they will help each other out when they are under attack to eliminate intruders. Once it's eaten enough, it will not actively search for prey for about 4 days to a week. However, if a person or hound comes nearby, it will attack them right away, as it's always hostile to both of them. So this is kind of a vicious cat thing. They should have called it little cat killers. Okay, moving on. These guys are pretty cool. These are androids, basically, that don human appearance and human equipment, and they basically kill other entities. They typically use guns or other human-like equipment, such as knives, crap like that. They are capable of emotion somehow, even though they're just AI android type things. And they're capable of, I guess, friendship too and stuff like that. Not too much to say about these guys. They're basically your android allies. But, if you piss them off, they won't like it. Like most everything in the backrooms, if you haven't figured it out yet, don't piss off entities that are not automatically pissed off. Okay, now moving on. Dig esters. I spelled that wrong on the on the iceberg. Please forgive me. Dig esters are large black humanoid dudes that reside in level 8561. They have large arms and legs which are covered in a cloth, along with a skinny body and deformed facial features. Although they do not appear to have teeth, there is evidence of fang-like teeth on dead bodies after being bitten or eaten. These entities are regularly be spotted under faulty lights or behind walls. These guys are very aggressive and will either attack the wanderer or run and hide from them. They are in control of the level they are on, and it is believed that there is one digster per instance of this level. If they spot a wanderer and attack him, they will be very precise in their attack. Run at the wanderer when they least expect it, proceeding to bite and maul them. Careful not to bite any of the wanderer's internal organs, ensuring a slow, painful death. If a digster spots a smiler, they will forget about any wanderers that they were previously pursuing and go for the smiler. It is unknown why they do this. However, the smilers on this level appear to be very afraid of them, retreating into the darkest areas of the level. So if you see one of these weird black face Gumby sun guns, look for a smiling face in the dark. It'll save your life. Night Stalkers. Night Stalkers take the appearance of blank humanoids composed of black, gooey, and rubbery substance. They feign their facial features despite their capabilities to see, sense, and produce noise from vocal cords. Night Stalkers are a level and exclusive entity. They are only on level 9. They are always aggressive towards humans, but are strongly held back by their impotence, therefore making them less remarkable and less of a threat. It is still advised to be cautious within the area of a Night Stalker, as they can still inflict catastrophic amounts of damage. They are only aggressive towards humans. They are preferably known to follow their prey into their homes within level 9, as it is the only level these entities can be spotted. They will wait for the entity to be most advantageable and strike their foes. They usually watch through windows or doors where they can't be seen. To avoid the danger of a Night Stalker, check the windows in case there is one watching. Quietly leave if possible. If there is a back door, go out the back door. If you can't leave, try hiding in case they break in, and then calmly wait for them to leave.
See, I'm gonna go out there and look.
Nightmares. These guys are cool. Nightmares are black creatures varying in size, shape, and intelligence. All nightmares are extremely dangerous entities, resistant to all kinds of firearms and most sharp objects. Nightmares appear at the terror dreams. Nightmares are variable in size, intelligence, and lethality. The basic nightmare is over 7 feet tall and are the shape of humanoid creatures. Lower class nightmares typically walk on all fours and are not very intelligent. Most nightmares are pitch black and cannot speak normally. Because of their habit being the terror dreams, they cannot make sounds normally and can only vibrate the air around them in frequencies that can be felt throughout your entire body. The vibrations of your bones and your fluctuating muscles. Most nightmares have 2 glowing white eyes, but some also have mouths or even more than 2 eyes. Their shape can be any living or dead creature, varying in size and in danger. This is the basic nightmare here. Basic nightmares are skinny humans with 2 glowing white eyes. They appear standing on 2 legs about 7 feet. They are resistant to most firearms and can only be damaged with long, sharp knives or swords. The basic nightmares are still incredibly quick and can end a human's life in a fraction of seconds. In order to survive, you should look at their eyes if you see them. Don't panic, but also don't ignore them. If possible, pass through a dream door right away. If you have a long knife or a sharp sword on hand, try to chop off their head quickly. If they choose to attack you, it is not advised to initiate combat unless absolutely necessary. The Beast Nightmare. Beast nightmares are shaped like large animals such as bears, wolves, or tigers. These nightmares only appear on outdoor dreams and higher levels of the terror dreams. These nightmares also appear during a blood moon. A beast nightmare is as intelligent as basic nightmare, but because of their beast bodies and killer instincts, they are more dangerous. Beast nightmares also lurk to make humans terrorized before attacking, but they cannot speak human languages, so they imitate beast noises with vibrations of air. Some beast nightmares have mouths and thus can bite and injure you badly. Beast nightmares with glowing red eyes are not scared by light or firearms and cannot be killed using normal means, so it's best you run away. In order to survive, you should make loud noises to scare them. When they are not aggressive, don't ignore them and don't make quick movements. Strong light and firearms may prove useful at scaring smaller beast nightmares, but be wary, scaring them makes them more likely to come and attack aggressively. Lowly Flying Nightmare. These guys are as dangerous as basic nightmares with the added ability of flight. They should be treated like basic nightmares and use the same strategy of survival under them. Flying nightmares are as smart as beast nightmares and basic nightmares, and they are also unable to speak. They appear in the shapes of giant bats, giant crows, and a large flying lizard. Arachnid Nightmare. This is Isaac's nightmare. Arachnid nightmares are best avoided at all costs. So when we live streaming, going to the back rooms, we won't try to hunt one of these. As fun as it sounds. They attack on sight and are not killable by humans. That's not good. Arachnid nightmares are at a minimum of 2 meters and go to the height of 16 meters, which is 52 feet and 5 inches. That's big. Arachnid nightmares are very intelligent and can call for backup if a human manages to slip away from their intense gaze of 8 eyes. The gaze of an arachnid-type nightmare can freeze a person and make them have nightmarish hallucinations. Arachnids are also considered commander class and above can speak human language. Arachnids can also speak telepathically with other nightmares without using vibrations in the air. They can hatch small spiderlings when a human hides in a small space that they cannot reach. In order to survive, put almond water on any injury from them. They have paralyzing venom that takes effect in less than 2 minutes. When you see them, run to the closest stream door, hallway, or window to appear in another place. Do not hide in small places. They can hatch small spiderlings to come get you. Commander and General nightmares. The smoky one on the right there, that's a general. I believe the one with the sword is just kind of a high-ranking nightmare. Commanders and generals are high-class nightmares. Generals are the higher class and commanders the lower. Both command large legions of nightmares and are super intelligent, much more than humans. These nightmares are based in camps and are rarely even seen outside of the blood moon event. Their looks can appear like any type of nightmare, but don't be fooled. These nightmares have a presence and aura that can be felt around them. You can feel the vibrations of their presence in your bones. They can kill unsuspecting humans with just vibrations. That's scary. Breaking the poor wanderer's bones to dust in the process. Luckily for humans, only generals can do such things, whilst commanders can only summon nightmares and be super intelligent. Generals also never attack humans unless attacked first. They can change into physical forms to any dark creatures they want to, even smilers. All generals are able to float and fly quickly, whilst only some commanders can fly. And finally, we have the Crimson Nightmares, which there is no photo. If you meet a Crimson Nightmare, there is no hope. You fucked. You cannot run. You cannot fight back. Accept your horrible fate unless you want to feel excruciating pain while being slowly torn apart. All Crimson Nightmares are like a hive mind. If one of them found you, all of them found you. The hive mind also includes Crimson Vines, and when touched, they signal Crimson Nightmares to attack any wanderer in the Blood Moon event. Crimson Nightmares attack on sight and are impervious to any human attack. They are mostly beast types, and even the basic Crimson Nightmare is as dangerous as an arachnid nightmare. Crimson Nightmares leave paths of liquid pain behind them. They can also spit it out with other toxins. Crimson Nightmare shrieks can paralyze humans. When a Crimson Nightmare catches a human, they tear them apart slowly, trying not to kill them too quickly before consuming them. Like other nightmares, Crimson Nightmares are sadistic and enjoy tormenting their prey before killing them. But Crimson Nightmares don't wait before attacking. They try to terrorize humans while attacking them. Survival guide. You have nothing to do. Running won't even slow them down. Try to pass through as many deemed passageways as you can before they get to you. Maybe you'll end up near the exit. I guess now's a good time to say these nightmares are not all class 4. The Crimson and the Generals and whatchamacallit. The Crimson is class 7, which is the bottom and the worst. And the Generals and the Commanders are class 6. I figured I'd lump them all here into one section. And as far as the Terror Dreams goes, that is a level I have not discussed yet, obviously. But it will definitely be on my secret and negative levels iceberg. Moving on. Impersonators. Impersonators are highly intelligent beings able to copy the behavior and appearance of a living thing. Upon killing a human or entity, the impersonator may choose to ingrain that being's likeness into their memory by pressing its hand to the being's forehead. As a result, extreme caution is recommended when around these entities. The higher an impersonator's kill count, the more capable it is of becoming who it disguises itself as. While unable to retain the individual's memory, the impersonator adapts to the creature's motor functions when shapeshifting and has been shown to be able to easily fake emotions. Knowing this, it is heavily recommended to stay away from any known impersonators. However, it is extremely difficult to know who can be trusted and who can't. These are basically your average everyday alien that can disguise itself as a human or anything along those lines. Moving on. Thudder. Thudders are widely populated species of entity that are known to inhabit housed spaces. Consistently in appearance, these entities are known to appear as long-limbed quadrupeds with a singular eye mounted on their heads. Found within suburban households, the entities often reside within large bedrooms, kitchens, and garages. Thudders often destroy light sources, as is advisable to avoid houses that lack any light sources, as a thudder can be present. Thudders are often hostile towards interlopers who invade households they reside within, and usually attempt to make those aware of its presence by signature thudding. If a wanderer is spotted by a thudder, it is inadvisable to engage it in combat with the entity due to its strength easily overpowering a wanderer. Wanderers are advised to retreat if they can. If a wanderer is within a level where it cannot escape, it is advised to attempt to blind the thudder with a light source. Due to the thudder's eyes being largely sensitive, once the thudder has been blinded, it is advised to either hide or find an exit out of the residence. Washing machines. Washing machines are hostile entities which resemble washing machines of the front rooms. When disturbed, these entities will spring into motion, pulled alongside by wires and cables that are plugged into the wall. It will heave towards any living being in their vicinity. The hatches of the washing machine will swing open, revealing a cognito-hazardous swirling chaos that deals severe damage to the mind of anyone who observes it for any amount of time. It has been previously stated what lies within the gaping maw of the washing machines can hardly be described, though a few who remain sane after witnessing it have tried. According to them, it's like a watery, distorted vision, some amalgamation of distorted matter and wave-like ripples that echo on like an endless tunnel, which leads to another horrifying location deep within the back rooms. Washing machines are usually found in laundry rooms. Do not, for any reason, disturb the washing machine, as they have been known to be extremely hostile and relentless in their pursuit of wanderers. In fact, it has been estimated that it takes roughly 9 hours for a washing machine's aggro to wear off after you have disturbed it. Although not as fast as the average human, washing machines are highly effective when it comes to maneuvering around obstacles, and are able to climb on walls and ceilings with relative ease in order to catch up to wanderers being slowed by objects and litter on the floor. Scary washing machine, man. And there you have Class 4. Pretty good stuff in there. The nightmare was obviously the worst. Let's move on. Class 5. If some of these wind up on the line, I don't remember what class they are, so forgive me if this happens to be a Class 6 or Class 5, etc. You get what I'm going with here. Worms. Hairworms are brain-controlling parasites that can be found in levels that contain a large volume of water, and aquatic levels such as level 30. The hairworm can enter through open wounds or the upper region of the human head. There are 4 stages to the hairworm's brain control. Stage 1, 10 to 30 minutes after the parasite enters the body, the first symptoms start to show. First, a mild headache begins, followed by sickness. If the worm has entered through a wound, the surrounding area will get redder and inflate. Stage 2. At this stage, the parasite breaks through the blood-brain barrier and enters into the brain. Muscle spasms start to occur, and the person slowly starts to lose control over their muscles. The brain inflates to counter the parasite, which causes sensitivity towards light, confusion, slow reaction time, and severe headaches. Stage 3. At this stage, the personality of the wanderer starts to break down, the body turns into a host for the parasite, and screams violently before losing all of their memories. After that, a desire for a body of water grows. The body mindlessly wanders around looking for a spot for the parasite to escape the body. At this stage, the wanderer is seen to be extremely violent and aggressive. This says crypts, but it's supposed to say cysts explode, unleashing thousands of larvae. The wanderer also spits out saliva filled with larvae of the worm. There's no stage 4. I was incorrect earlier. As far as treatment goes, the only way it can be treated is while you're in stage 1. The only way to do so is to extract the worm and kill it before it starts unleashing the larva. Yum. Stay out of the water. Bouncers. Bouncers are creatures who reside on level fun alongside partygoers and party hosts. They are seen frequently protecting doors and passages into partygoer nests. Despite having no facial features, bouncers are capable of speech. They have been reported to say the following: "Please leave this area. You cannot be here. You aren't allowed here. Leave this place, etc., etc. The survival guide, if you encounter a bouncer and you piss him off, as in you don't leave when he tells you to leave, he's most likely going to beat you to death with his weird club-like hands there. But if you aim for the pelvic area, you can incapacitate them, and from there can cut off their head fairly easily. It's recommended to find a bouncer with at least 2 people, so one can piss it off, the other one can incapacitate it by kicking it in the nuts and then slicing its head off. So basically how you take out any bouncer, really. I don't see what the big deal is about these guys. Moving on. Rattlers. This one's written a little different, so I'm just going to kind of give it a quick summary. Rattlers are well-hidden creatures that roam the backrooms. No one has ever seen a rattler and lived, but someone has, and thus he has written a page about it. Do not mistake it for anything else. It is a rattler. It is. It is. If you hear something similar to a rattlesnake, or you see something that looks slightly like this, it is a rattler. If you see one, the only way to escape is to beeline straight for a source of light. Do not think about smilers and frowners that would be drawn to it. Think about excruciating, torturous things that the rattler will do to your ass. However, rattlers are not dumb. If they sense you trying to escape them and can escape them, then they will abandon their main objective of driving you into insanity. What should you do and what shouldn't you do? You should try to focus on staying sane. Try to find a smiler. If all else fails, run, like 99.9% of the things you encounter down here. What you shouldn't do is panic, sleep, or use any weapons or your fists. You might as well be firing or swinging at complete darkness. So that's the rattler. Amalgamations. Amalgamations are highly dangerous, highly intellectual entities which resemble humanoid beings which are completely made out of human body parts similar to clumps. But instead of arms and legs they are made out of every body part that exists in a human. They vary in color, but most of them are red. Supposedly this is a picture of an amalgamation. These entities are documented to have no teeth or tongues, yet they still have a mouth. These entities are able to communicate with humans, and they can barely speak English. They often repeat things that humans say, similarly to skin stealers. But some have been known to actually speak English without listening to humans. Amalgamations are said to have a very high IQ, about 247. They will usually wander around a level until they find their food, human, animal, or entity. They will start going towards them and try to catch them. If they catch them, they will eat them. But if the victim runs away and the amalgamation doesn't know where they are, they will leave and start wandering until they find someone else. They prefer to stay in dark, dimly lit places to make sabotaging wanderers easier. For some reason, they are most aggressive in the hive. It is their birthplace, after all. Thus, the amalgamation. I'm a little disappointed. I thought it was going to be a lot cooler. It's basically every other entity that's down here. Alright, moving on. Arania membri, I think I said that right, also known as spider legs, are fast-moving predatory entities which inhabit several levels of the back rooms. These entities are named after their black spider-like legs, which seem to absorb all light and meld into the shadows. These entities are also infamous for their metallic clanking sounds they make when chasing after you. I'm assuming that's from that weird metal beak-like thing on their head. They are said to measure approximately 7 feet in height and 8 feet in length, although their exact size remains unknown as they are too fast to have been observed closely. These entities will always emerge suddenly from ceilings of indoor levels and proceed to chase down wanderers and attempt to trample them under their limbs. When hunting, spider legs are able to reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, though it is only able to reach these speeds with long enough hallways. They can also use their momentum to knock over obstacles or break down walls or instantly crush their target. After a successful hunt, these guys will drag their victims through the hole which they emerge and disappear. To date, no wanderer has dared explore these holes in the ceilings. Despite their otherworldly appearance, spider legs are ultimately nothing more than wild animals and susceptible to mortal wounds and sickness, same as any other creature. Carefully planned traps and mundane weaponry are enough to terminate a specimen. So if you have a gun, shoot it. Moving on. Elderfants. Elderfants are giant creatures that are normally above 7 feet tall. They are similar to elephants but have many differences. For example, what appears to be his tusk is divided by two and uses a mandible covered by some type of black liquid. They have glowing red eyes, curved horns, thick skin, and his tail has a claw-like form. They roam in dark levels with open space and low entity count. They are usually found sleeping in dark spaces but wake by the slightest sound. That sounds like me. And it sucks, bro. I know. If I was freaking one of you guys, I'd kill anybody who woke me up too. God. They are extremely hostile towards any creature, and it's not recommended to be closer than 130 feet. They can be agitated easily by sounds. You should avoid them at all costs, otherwise you might get trampled. They are extremely hostile towards anyone when chasing its target. They break through walls to get to the victim. Normally they will crush the victim before eating it because of its fragile teeth. And yeah, so basically they're a elephant that's been modified by darkness and hellscape and turned into this thing. And if you wake it up while it's sleeping, it's going to try to kill you. Castus and Colossus. No image available, sadly. This guy is an intimidating, atrocious, and divine individual who has dedicated its life to controlling and stabilizing timelines. There are not many sightings of this entity, as only one person has seen this entity. This entity is usually seen sitting on his throne, waiting for someone to arrive, as he has nothing to do. His main habits are racing and creating timelines for fun. However, sometimes he communicates with other entities, such as King of Normality and Gary Castus. And Colossus don't speak any language. Instead, they communicate using symbols. The symbols have yet to be decoded. They are, I don't know why there's two fucking names. God. I'm just going to call him Colossus from here on out, okay? Colossus is an extremely powerful motherfucker, known for stopping, changing, and altering time itself, giving him a huge advantage during fights. Colossus can summon entities from different timelines to that timeline that he is in. He is worshipped by few but hated by many. Sounds like me. He only resides in one level and has yet to be seen in other levels. His throne is presumably level E. So I guess his throne is a whole level. I'm kind of confused at that. That'll be in my secret levels iceberg. Colossus is a cautious individual. He spends most of his time sitting on his throne, waiting for another wonder to arrive and then get killed. The cycle repeats continuously, however, sometimes he talks to other entities in what he calls important matters. These important matters are usually just gossip, but sometimes they talk about battle plans just in case an entity tries to attack them. There really isn't too much to Colossus, as most people have met him and haven't survived. There's a couple different theories on Colossus. I like this one. The theory is why he is Castus and Colossus is he's a metallic robot that has two heads. He's controlled by a haggard being, has rectangular purple lights, and two big tubes to attach the head. The robot can not only mess with timelines, he can also shoot bullets out of his hands. It is widely believed that he is controlled by the King of Normality. The timeline theory believes that Colossus is the timeline itself. It is more of a process than an entity, and the timeline actually creates and self-destructs himself. Okay. The amalgamation theory isn't saying that he's not an entity, but rather an amalgamation of multiple entities, creating the right entity. This theory has been debunked, however, as there are a lot of loopholes to see how it can mix entities and symbols and whatnot. So basically, I'm not sure why he's only a class 5. I would think he'd at least be a class 6, but he's basically a time-controlling entity, and that's pretty damn cool. Alright, moving on. Entity 666. Death Locomotive. Entity 666 is a substantially treacherous entity possessing the appearance of a standard American electrical locomotive. Measuring how big every train is. You know how big trains are? Yeah, that's how big he is. I don't feel like going into the measurements. It's not necessary. Extensive research and examinations has proven that this entity does not possess machines and equipment to retain its stability and function, nor does it include any locomotive drivers or anyone to supervise the train. Any endeavors on damaging the train itself, ranging from scratches to explosions, have consistently been proven ineffective and dissipate over time. At random times, soft or more erratically, a melancholy symphony played by specifically two musical instruments that are a saxophone or the piano can be heard in the background, echoing from what seems to be an infinite space of darkness. The train flies over the darkness, which is assumingly the void, and it typically does not run on railway tracks. I guess this is part of the entity, the subway. The subway is an anomalous spatial location existing within the inaccessible regions of the void. So, I'm assuming this train chews through the void. It possesses conjunction with the metro, the subway does. This entity really isn't that interesting. Man. Yeah, this just kind of sucks. Alright, so we had a couple flops on Class 5. I thought those were going to be cooler. But, hey, it's Class 5. It's not Class 7. So, yeah. I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Expecting all these things to be just terrifying. But I know Class 6 is going to have some really good stuff, so let's move along. Alright, Class 6. My screen recorder is being dumb, so I had to include a piece of Class 5 here. But this is Class 6. Rainbows, or Entity 14. Any encounters with Entity 14 is to be avoided due to certain justifications which are stated in the following article. Do not be fueled by its appearance, nor approach any rainbows reported in the aforementioned levels. There is a possibility these seemingly non-anomalous rainbows in question may be Entity 14. This one's pretty basic. I'll just summarize it. Rainbows are more commonly seen outside, but they also can be seen inside. If you see one inside, then it's for damn sure an Entity 14. What Entity 14 does is it basically sends out a massive radiation pulse. It sends out enough radiation to kill a full-grown male elephant. If it doesn't kill you immediately, it's going to hurt like a son bitch, and then you will die eventually. So, radiation pulse rainbow. Yeah. The Howler. The Howler appears to be a large white humanoid entity with two glowing white eyes, approximately 4.2 meters tall, with 3.1 meter long arms and legs. Its appearance is of a lanky humanoid thing. It appears to possess long, sharp claws at the end of both of its arms. The feet appear to be flat, although it does share some similarities with normal human feet. The entity also possesses a large red circle at its torso, seemingly resembling blood. It is presumed that this is an intimidation tactic used by the entity. The entity's claws also have similar red-colored shapes, which I would assume is blood. The entity doesn't appear to have any type of body hair, and its appearance is described to be simplistic. The skin is odd, as it does not have any reflection, and it appears like it had multiple skins over it. However, further investigation reveals the entity only has one layer of skin. The Howler's most unique property is its ability to mimic human voices. The voices it makes will always be male voices from people around age 17 to 24. But there is a clear difference between normal human voice and the ones that this entity makes. The voices that the entity makes feel odd and are not completely similar to real human voice, but wanderers that have spent days or even months without any human company may not notice this. The speed and strength of the entity is abnormally high, and it can easily outrun a human if a chase occurs. The entity usually lurks around corners, mimics human voices to lure schmucks like you in, and then shows you why its claws are red. A few methods of avoiding this is do not trust any distant voices in the levels that you hear. If you feel like you're being watched and the structures around you are enclosed, like a hallway or a cramped building with a lot of corners for something to hide behind, turn around and go the other way, and always watch your surroundings. Spogors. Entity 67Z, otherwise known as Spogors, are an especially strange derivation of Entity 67, which are the partygoers. The exact evolutionary process that birthed this subspecies is unknown. What is known, however, is that these entities are remarkably dangerous, posing a significant threat to all surrounding life forms. Local communities have issued warnings in areas where Spogors are present. Interestingly, the Spogors initially appear as popsicles, depicting the protagonist of the SpongeBob SquarePants series. These frozen treats can be consumed, and it has been said that these popsicles are fruit punch and cotton candy flavor. However, the appearance is but a clever facade. Spogors are actually parasitic creatures that spread through these popsicles. Said popsicles can be understood to be the embryonic stage of this entity. That picture on the right is what they truly look like. The true form is a melty eldritch creature. It has an array of trypophobia-inducing holes, which anomalously afflict surrounding life forms with extreme stress and fear. A disgusting odor permeates these holes. Thought to be the scent of rotten pineapple and seawater, Spogors additionally have lengthy arms that lay limped, being dragged along the ground as they charge towards you with their bony legs. Their spongy mass is grimy yellow, which oozes a dark liquid of undetermined origin. Spogors vary in size and oftentimes tower over full-size humans. A faint, warm breath emanates from the holes. The inner biology has yet to be discovered. Now you're probably wondering, what in the hell happens if I eat that popsicle-looking thing? Upon consumption, there will be no immediate effect to brain activity. The parasitic material will culminate within the victim's stomach. Refusing to be fully digested, rather, the material will develop into the second stage. Symptoms of second stage include unusual sudden fatigue, inability to gain energy from eating, and a greatly increased appetite. This essentially makes the entity a tumorous parasite that leeches off of one's energy to develop further. The parasite will continue to grow at an accelerated pace, eventually consuming the surrounding flesh tissue. The affected individual will soon succumb to the energy-draining parasite even after death. The parasite will hollow out the rest of the body until only the skin is left. This marks the beginning of the third stage, where the complete form of the entity will later emerge from its flesh cocoon. After the parasite develops enough, its complete form will arise from the decaying body covered in black ooze. Spogors will persistently stalk wanderers from a distance before they approach him. Chances are, if you've encountered one, it's already stalked you for weeks beforehand. That's kind of scary. They are seemingly aware of your habits, equipment, and fellow wanderers who are with you. Said knowledge will be effectively used against you, and when they do decide to confront you, Spogors cause severe physical trauma to nearby organisms after diffusing chemicals through the air. They will cause wanderers to have mental breakdowns and collapse, making it far easier for them to be devoured with haste. Pretty scary creature, despite its silly appearance. Karos. This entity has a warning on it, so I decided it was best to not post the image. I don't think it's that bad personally, but if you want to take a look at it, go ahead and look this one up for yourself. Karo, as they are more widely known, are extremely dangerous organisms with fleshy appearance. They produce gas out of their skin, yielding a hallucinatory effect that is similar to something. It's similar to something, alright. Karos are completely immobile, but they are still one of the most dangerous creatures in the Backrooms and one of the most difficult to kill. They tend to stick to walls and ceilings in dark, damp spaces in almost any level, but most prominently in level 0 and level 2. They are thought to be sensitive to light, as some Karo have reported to cover light sources with an opaque, slimy fluid to keep the area they have infested in the dark. When a potential host walks by, they tend to scrunch up into a smaller form in order to reduce their chance of being spotted by their host. Once a host is infected with its spores, the Caro will return to its normal size and will stop releasing its gas. They almost always appear in large clumps weighing around 600 pounds, fatties. They stick to the wall by secreting a sticky fluid out of their backsides. It has a fleshy outside, but don't be fooled. Below the layer of skin is a hardened inner shell to protect it from attackers. The only way to kill it is to find its mouth, which is its Achilles heel, and kill it by destroying the insides. The Caro reproduces in an unusual manner. Whenever a wanderer gets too close, the Caro discharges a gas that induces hallucinations of positive memories or things the victim most desires. The Caro uses a thin carotene spike that attaches a tube to the abdomen while the host is hallucinating. Following this attachment of the tube to the host, it will distribute its spores into the host while sucking the food from their stomach with a different tentacle. Once the victim wakes up, the Caro will free them. However, after 3 hours, spores will begin to sprout from every hole in the body. Despite the fact that there is no more space left in the host, the spores will continue to grow. The stomach will eventually go boom, causing the spores to be spread throughout the space, increasing the amount of Caro that can be spread through a single host. If you want to survive this, there's a very slim chance, yet still possible. Once the Caro releases the gas, you're not escaping unless you remain aware that what you're seeing is not real. No matter what you see or how much you want to, do not fall into their trap. Curl into a ball in order to prevent it from reaching your stomach. The Caro does not have an unlimited supply of gas, so buy time until they run out. After they run out, get as far away from the Caro as possible. Damaging their inside with a sharp object or burning them should kill them. After killing it, check yourself for wounds if there is a hole in the stomach. You're far past fucked. Your time in the backrooms is over. Moving on. Slitherings. So, something weird about this one. I typed in slitherings in Google and it just wouldn't go to that page. It kept sending me to like videos and the Backrooms Entity main page and crap like that. And then I even tried Entity 223 and that didn't work either. So, not sure what that is. I'm not fucking with you on this one. I'm being dead serious. So, if you want to look up this entity on its page, you're going to have to scroll through the entity thing, which is why I left the number here, 223, for those of you who are interested in doing that. Anyways, slitherings are very hostile entities that can kill very easily. They are a class 6 because of their dangers, and because of the fact that they can squeeze up to 3 tons of pressure, making almost anything that is living killed in near instant. These entities don't really have a face. They are almost just all tentacles. You can find these entities in lots of levels and are rare in levels with tile ceilings because that is where they normally stay. But in levels, otherwise they are a little less rare, but still hard to find. Slitherings are very quiet entities that are good at hiding fast and quietly. For example, if you were to look back for one to see if it was following you, it would already be hidden in the ceiling tiles. Maybe the poor writing is why I couldn't find this one. Slitherings climb on walls and ceilings to get an advantage towards wanderers and other entities, and also so they can hide more effectively. If you are seen by one, it will stay in sight, but it will act as if it has no clue you are there, making the wanderer feel safe and put their guard down more. When you walk away or forget about it, it will pounce on you and kill you almost immediately. Once this has happened, you are dead no matter what. So once it kills you immediately, you are dead no matter what. Okay? Once it kills you immediately, there's no chance of you getting... Okay, I'm done. The only way to escape is to no-clip into another level before it pounces on you and rips you apart. Slitherings are not friendly to other entities and almost immediately kills any entity in less than a second if they get a grip on them. They also hide in vending machines, walls, ceilings, etc. So slitherings are large entities and with long tentacles. They do not appear to have a face. They have hundreds of tentacles, and all the tentacles are very thick. That was a strange article. Mimics. There's no picture for this one. Mimics are pretty self-explanatory. They are creatures that copy you and what you do, and yeah. It said if you hear your voice to be on your guard, because it's most likely a mimic. If they find you, they will either slash you and take you out or turn you into one of them, which is an extremely painful process, I've heard. You turn into plastic, so yeah, just imagine turning into plastic. Doesn't sound like much fun, does it? Yeah, not too much more to say about them. I mean, yeah, I think pretty much everybody is familiar with what a mimic is from games, fantasy, etc. So, moving on. Hey guys, so the next one I was going to talk about was the Playmate entity. You can see right here, Playmate is an extremely dangerous entity. It can be found on level 452. Since it's hidden underground, its true form remains a mystery. But when I click on it, it's gone. Yeah, so I'm not sure what happened with that one. I'm going to give you guys a bonus that I somehow missed. The thing on level 7, I don't know how I missed this one, especially since he's one of the more well-known entities. And for whatever reason, I can't get it up on my phone, so we're going to read it right like this. Entity 20, or more commonly known as the Thing on level 7. The Thing is a huge fish-like entity that lurks deep in the oceans of level 7. The Thing is very aggressive and very rare to appear, and due to this, little information is known about it. As of now, this entity is only rumored to exist. There have been no confirmed sightings of it. I guess ignore the picture. Many people have reported seeing a dark shadow in the ocean and a dim light moving in the waters, but there is no supporting evidence of this being the Thing. The Thing lives in the lower half of level 7. It is omnivorous and seems to have killed all other life in the ocean. It has poor eyesight but can easily detect movements in the water to find out where potential prey is. When the Thing is near, it will give you a temporary fear of the ocean and sea creatures if you don't already have one, which I do, so yeah, it'll be twice as bad for me. Making its attacks more effective, it makes loud roars around prey to make them very weak and slow, and just recordings of the roar can have this effect. The Thing tries to prevent any information about it from spreading, and will usually attack anyone who knows the most about it before anything else. There have been reports of it actively trying to hunt a specific person because of how much they knew. How the Thing knows how much information this person knows about it is unknown. The Thing appears to be a dull red anglerfish and that word right there, I'm not even going to try. Combined with a tail that is 1 kilometer long. It has many spikes coming out of it, especially on its tail, similar to an anglerfish from reality. It has a yellow light hanging from its head. It has large teeth, but most of the time it won't have to use them since it's big enough to swallow a human with ease. It is rumored that the Thing was that from the front rooms who accidentally no-clipped into level 7. The Thing quickly adapted to the environment and began its hunt, devouring every organism present on level 7. The Thing is said to be the reason why there are mass amounts of skeleton bones on the ocean floor. In most cases, these skeletons are unfortunate wonders, but some of them are the remains of unidentified entities. As said before, there are no confirmed sightings of the Thing, but there have been reports of it. The first report is a wanderer exploring the deeper parts of the ocean. Level 7, they saw a yellow light in the distance, and it seemed to be getting closer. Confused and scared, the wanderer swam back up to the surface away from the light. This was the first and last time they saw anything like it. Do's and don'ts. Do. Keep time in the ocean of level 7 to a minimum. I don't know why you'd want to go in to begin with, but if you feel like taking a swim, make it a short swim. Get away from anything moving in the ocean. Report anything you think may be the Thing on level 7 to the Meg. Don't. Explore the deep ocean. Again, why would you want to? Make a lot of noise. Go towards any lights in the ocean. And also, there was a warning at the beginning of this article saying that if you open it and read it, the Thing on level 7 is going to hunt you down. So, you're welcome. Now, this Thing's going to hunt all of you down as well as me. Good luck! Servitorants. Servitorants are godlike entities that roam the vastest of the forgotten cities of level 501. They can be recognized by their red, blade-like legs and their darker skin. The exact shape of these creatures varies from creature to creature. Some seem to resemble the shape of a wolf, and others the shape of a deer. This one apparently resembles the shape of a Reaper from the Mass Effect series. The Servitorants seem to wander aimlessly throughout the far reaches of the city, but always respond to certain signs. These signs range from irregular noises to gigantic accumulations of concentrated energy bursts. In short, they can immediately sense the presence of another entity entering and trace it back with pinpoint accuracy. When a Servatorrent reaches its target, it rises in a majestic manner. It lifts its two front legs, remains for a short moment in this position, and then dashes onto its prey. To escape the tracing abilities of this entity, you would have to release your entire life energy, which would probably also kill you. I don't know how to release my entire life energy, so maybe somebody can make a walkthrough video on how to do that for me. Okay. Therefore, the only way to survive an attack from one of these creatures would be to kill it. The best way to achieve this is with explosive weapons. Crystallium has proven useful for this task. A less destructive alternative, which so far has only been used by Meg, to study the anatomy of this entity is to use sonic amplifiers, which can crack the crystalline structure of these creatures, rendering them unarmed. Unarmed? It's not unarmed. UNARMEND. Unarmed? I don't know. Whatever. They have extremely sharp blade-like extremities that appear to be made of red crystals. The rest of their bodies appear in a deep shade of black. Some have horns, some have wings. The bodies seem to hardly follow a fixed pattern. However, the cellular nature of these entities is always the same. They use their blade-like legs to slice open their prey and run through the rough terrain of 501. Their tracing seems to work through some kind of swarm intelligence, since no tracing instruments could be identified on their bodies. So they kind of are like Reapers, as well as looking like Reapers, and I think that's pretty cool. Moving on. Entity 777.2, Kill Street Kim or Astrid F. Nightingale. We talked about Entity 777.1 earlier. This is the Class 6 evil counterpart. Kim has two forms, humanoid and a demonic-like form. Their human and demonic form does not show up on any form of camera or video recorded images. They do not have a reflection in the mirror either. The true form is that of a demonic-like entity because the producers have selected them to raise as much cane and chaos in the backrooms as possible. The abilities, reality and level generation. Kim created or contributed to the following levels: level negative 369, level negative 511, and level negative 991. Reality destruction, reality manipulation, reality redaction, reality looping, reality erasing, deleting, reality level connection, void creating, info incognito hazard abilities, perception interference, distortion and manipulation. Can interact with individuals as a disembodied voice. They can be everywhere, somewhere, or nowhere at all. They can reduce people to ash and dust by unknown means. There is a whole hell of a lot more to do with this entity, most of them involving Class 7 entities, namely the producers, which are also in the next layer. So, with that being said, if you want to look into this one more, feel free to do so, but I'm going to go ahead and stop here. The Red Eyes, or Entity 900. This is an extremely long one. I'm not going to read it word for word. I'm going to do my best to summarize it so you guys can understand, and so I can understand too. Let's get started. The Red Eyes are a strange disease inside the backrooms that can be found rarely in a microscope. The condition always has an irregular shape. It will always have a dark red color and can be described as some type of bacteria with properties similar to a virus. The disease can be found in containers with dark red liquid similar to liquid pain and can be transmitted by other humans. It's extreme, infectious, and mortal. It does not have a cure, and the only thing that can be done is to increase the time the disease takes to inflict its effects. Even after a whole lot of time invested in an investigation, it wasn't possible to identify the type of disease that the Red Eyes is. It's not a bacteria, a virus, a fungal growth, or a parasite, but it seems to share properties of all of those types of diseases. The Red Eyes have shown to be able to resist cleaning products, antibacterial products, or even alcohol. Nothing was able to kill them. Did you try bleach? They have only been able to be shown weak to fire, but it doesn't kill them, it just slows them down. The disease can infect both human beings and other living things, including entities, and it can be transmitted via any corporal fluid, including pee, blood, saliva, earwax, mucus, and many more. The Red Eyes are also known to hide parasites inside water containers and other wet places. They can also act as a fungus and hide in walls and the floors. When they act like a fungus, they can overlap and stack on each other, generating a weird putrid dark green flesh-like structure with a small yellow dots. This structure will generate red eyes with a negative symbol in the center, and it can expand easily into superficies, being able to infect an entire level if the level has no other entities and given the right circumstances. All of the substances of the red eye seem to act like a hive mind, and like every substance of it has the same consciousness. It acts like a group to keep expanding itself all across the back rooms. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how the hell do I know if I have this thing? The symptoms. After approximately 40 minutes of getting infected, the subject will suffer loss of taste, high fever, skin will get pale, and the subject will be tired and sleepy. 1 or 2 days after getting infected, the subject will suffer nausea, diarrhea, extreme hunger, and thirst, and all previous symptoms will get worse. After this, the disease will be extremely infectious and will be transmitted via every single corporal fluid within an efficiency of 100%. That means interaction with an infected subject will result in infection for anyone. 3 days after getting infected, the subject will suffer holes of approximately 3 to 6 centimeters appearing over the skin. Extreme cold, no matter what the environment, and all of the previous symptoms will get worse. 3 days and 12 hours afterwards, the subject will suffer red eyes with negative symbols in the middle of them and will start appearing all over the place where the holes on the skin of the victim were. Nausea will become extreme and the subject will start vomiting almost constantly, even if there is no liquid on their body. Eye irritation and the skin of the subject will slowly start to change colors from white to a green. All of the previous symptoms will get much worse. 4 days after getting infected, the subject will suffer. The subject will start having hallucinations, and all of his interior organs will start to shrink slowly and painfully. All of the previous symptoms will get worse. 4 days and 4 hours after getting infected, the subject will suffer. The hair of the subject will fall off. The subject will be completely green and putrid. Some parts of the body will start to fall off, and the bones will start to break and crack. Sometime later, the brain will shut down completely, and the subject will be considered dead. After an unknown amount of time, the subject will be reanimated, get up, and be alive, quote unquote. It will become completely hostile. If the subject dies while being infected, the infection will continue on its dead body, but much faster, being able to get to the final stage within 20 minutes. And once it's in the final stage, it will reanimate the dead body as it normally does. Living beings that were infected by the red eyes have passed the final symptom effect of the disease and will be nominated as the negative eyes, or the ones fallen in the eye. But for a better understanding, we will call them the negative eyes. They are distorted creatures that are no longer considered human. That picture right there. They are all different from each other, but they all have the same properties. They will have a putrid flesh all around their body. They will be similar to a humanoid. They will all be missing their interior organs. Some parts of the skeleton will be visible. They will have multiple mouths all over their body with an exaggerated and unnecessary amount of non-sharp, large teeth around places that should not normally have teeth. All of them will emit a putrid smell. They will emit human-like sounds, but extremely distorted. They will have a disturbing and creepy smile. And there's some other stuff. Killing one of these things is not hard. They can be killed with simple fire weapons, but the problem is once they are dead, they will explode, releasing an unknown substance containing the disease and infecting everyone who makes contact with it. Touching one of the negative eyes will also result in the infection being spread. Alright, now, if you think you can survive, which I really don't think you can, but if you think you can survive, you first have to know the basics. If you encounter one of them and it sees you, don't panic. Identify your surroundings quickly and start running in the opposite direction. Do not attempt to fight or kill it. If you are cornered, you may fight back with a distance weapon if needed. If you are not in the possession of a distance weapon, then use long melee weapons or fire guns. If you're fighting back, remember not to kill it, touch it, or touch any of the liquids that it may generate when you damage it. Just leave him damaged enough for you to start escaping. In case you feel that you are infected, get a safe distance from everyone else. It will already be too late for you. Scream to warn others near you in this level and avoid spreading the disease anymore. The origin, which I don't normally have an origin to read, so I'm going to read this one. The origin is currently unknown. Imagine that. But there have been some theories. The most known and accepted theory is that the red eyes are a mutated version of the hydrolytis plague. It said the water container with liquid pain, a tiny bit of almond water, and the hydrolytis plague was mixed in, and that water container was frozen and it mutated to resist the cold thanks to almond water and absorbed the liquid pain, acquiring a new nature. Oh, that was a long one. This is the last entity for this layer. The King of Normality is a powerful, enigmatic entity with contradicting nature. For some, he is seen as a great hero. For others, he is a sly trickster. For most, he's nothing but an ordinary person. There are conflicting accounts regarding both the appearance and personality of the entity. This is his most base form. On most occasions, the King of Normality appears as an ordinary wonder dressed in a black suit with a red tie and a fedora. His face, and general physique seem to shift around, though his attire always remains the same. His true form, however, is revealed when he sheds a disguise. Though still humanoid, his entire body is pitch black with glowing red cracks. Instead of a facial feature, the entity only has one eye and a mouth grinning an expression similar to that of a smiler, albeit less demonic and more chaotic. The King of Normality would only show his true form when the situation forces him to reveal himself. He has also a corrupt form which is more disturbing and creepy than his true form. He shows his corrupted form when he interacts with glitches. He won't look that humanoid and he will be surrounded by a bunch of yellow glitches. His sleeves will be surrounded by yellow rings, which he calls his abnormal issues. These rings are sharp enough to cut off a wanderer's head. His eye will be more significant, and the eye will have red, bright pupils. If you see him in his corrupted form, do not interact with him, as he will mistake you for an entity and end you. The King of Normality is vastly powerful, as he has displayed the ability to travel between levels and is apparently a traveler between worlds. He claims to go through the boundaries of reality, including the front rooms and the great beyond. Apparently, he can stabilize whatever dimension that he resides in, but typically limits himself to a single level or at least a portion of said level. Wanderers often stumble upon him in dangerous situations, as his residence is easily recognizable due to the contrast against the rest of the place. If you find yourself in a room that is unusually normal to the point of impossibility, then it is most likely a domain for the king. His room often contains other wanderers and normalized entities that are docile under his power, similar to the influencer of the snack rooms. This ability may not be visible when he is safe, but he can turn it on at any time whenever he deems fit, or whenever the situation calls for it. Due to this, the king will often be involved in chaotic conflict as a mediator or a stabilizer, keeping balance. Real quick, let's go over his abilities. In his human form, he's able to punch through and damage armored vehicles. He's tough enough to withstand some lighter firearms. He moves like an average person, but still faster. His flexibility, he can crack his knuckles and turn his head approximately 95 degrees. And he has the ability to normalize his surroundings. In his true form, he can easily break through boulders, even with a mere touch. He is stronger than a battleship, and even pool stone barely affects him. He is extremely fast, able to outrun even fighter jets. He can twist and detach his body as parts of shape-shifting weapons, and he's able to stabilize a whole level. Finally, his corrupted form, he can break through extremely hard objects, and he is able to bust iron armor. He is stronger than heavy war tanks. His armor can only be penetrated by extremely heavy explosives. He can somehow float, but is slower than his true form. He can twist his head 360 and rip off his limbs, which can be used as weapons. He can corrupt wanderers and rip off people's heads. As powerful as this guy is, and as dangerous as he is, I dare say he's nothing compared to some of the stuff on Class 7. Alright, that is Class 6 entities. Class 7 is going to be its own video, as I theorize, because this one's already pushing over an hour. All the Class 7 entities are very long and very complex and powerful, and yeah, there's a lot of them too. So yeah. So stay tuned for that one. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to those of you who made it all the way to the end. If you didn't make it to the end, you can go to hell. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously guys, thank you for watching. If you liked, feel free to hit that thumbs up. If you really liked, you can hit that subscribe. It's the big red block with the white letters in the middle that say subscribe. You can't miss it. And if you're gonna subscribe, you could hit the little notification bell too, and then you could see this cool exclusive stuff like this. And you could be one of the rare few who is subscribed to When Heroes Are Zeros. You know, you could go into work Monday morning flexing this. You walk in and be like, yeah, Oh, I subscribed to When Heroes Are Zeros last night. What'd you do with your life this weekend? Bitch. But all joking aside, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you later. Peace.